I I was just thinking, what am I gonna say to open up this video? I usually say, "Hey guys, it's Alyssa," but I'm debating like, should I be like, "Sup, bitches," or "Hey guys"? I don't know. If you can think of an opening that you would enjoy or appreciate, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try to make that happen. Today, I have for you the Halloween tag, and I am excited about this because my friend Allie, or Graphic Allie on YouTube, tagged me in it, and so of course I had to do it. And Rochelle and I are actually going to do our Halloween themed third week of the month, as promised. I think next week. Is that the third week of October already for you guys? But anyway, I'm really excited about it because, as I've mentioned in probably 100 million videos, Halloween is my favorite holiday, and fall is my favorite time of year. So I always get excited about that sort of thing. But anyway, let me go ahead and get started for you on these questions because they're pretty funny. The first one is, what was your favorite costume as a child? Oh man, that's hard because I've never liked the scary parts of Halloween, so I never did like a scary costume, but I always really enjoyed just like the whole concept of dressing up for Halloween. I think my all-time favorite as a kid was probably, um, gosh, I don't know. I was Little Red Riding Hood, and my grandma's friend made that costume for me, and I was Dorothy, and her friend also made that costume. I really liked those costumes, but those weren't as good of Halloweens because the Little Red Riding Hood Halloween year, I think it snowed really bad, and I remember being cold and not getting that much candy. So I liked the costume, but not the Halloween. But I think maybe my all-time favorite was, oh gosh, there's been so many. I think my actual all-time favorite would have been more in adulthood. I had costumes that I liked as a kid, but I wasn't necessarily like super excited or attached to any of them. I was Cruella de Vil one year as a kid, and I really liked that one. But I think my all-time favorite costume that I've ever had, um, up to like early adulthood, was the year that I dressed as Eddie Munster from the TV show The Munsters. I went to Goodwill and found this like perfect purple velvet jacket. Um, I don't even know like when or where that would have ever been like an appropriate thing to wear as a non-costume, but it was perfect for the Eddie Munster because I wore it with long shorts and a white button up, and then I made this ribbon tie like the one he has, and wore knee socks, and I found these men's dress shoes that were like patent leather that went with it, and then I had prosthetic ears, and I had braces at the time, so I couldn't wear the prosthetic teeth, which was fine. But and I mean, like I said, I'm a very small person. I'm only 5 feet tall, and so I tend to get mistaken for a kid pretty frequently anyway. And so with this costume on, I really did look like a little boy. And I did the paint, the face paint, and the body paint and stuff, and I just really had a good time at Rochelle's party in that costume. So I think that's my favorite. Least favorite costume as a child. Oh gosh. Um. Well, I had one year. My mom dressed me up as a flower one year, and I sort of remember thinking that costume was really uncomfortable. It was my sister that actually had all the worst costumes. She was kind of a tomboy, and so she was a dinosaur one year, and she really hated her Cowardly Lion costume because it was like this huge headdress, and she was only like 3 or 4, and I guess it was really uncomfortable. Probably the costume I was the most disappointed with, again, was adulthood. I dressed up as Willy Wonka, and I talked about this in Rochelle and I in a Halloween video we did last year. I went on my honeymoon to Disney World. We went to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which, by the way, if you've never been, you need to go because it's awesome. Um, and I I dressed as Willy Wonka, and I had kind of waited because I was like distracted with wedding planning and had a lot going on, and I didn't prepare. Like normally I start preparing for a costume like months in advance, and for whatever reason this one I did not do that. And I regretted it because it wasn't like the best costume ever. I found this really like ratty wig, and my hat didn't look like Willy Wonka's, and at the party like no one really knew what my costume was, and I pride myself on being able to come up with amazing Halloween costumes. And so I was really disappointed in myself. So that's my least favorite. Third, favorite Halloween candy. What was your favorite Halloween candy as a kid, and is it still your favorite? That's tough. I've always just liked candy. I think as a kid, I really liked anything that had like fancy packaging. I've always done it and still am a sucker for packaging. And so things that looked more like expensive candy, I really liked. I think my favorite as a kid was probably all the Wonka candy because I like chocolate, but I'm not a huge chocolate eater. It's kind of one of those things that I have to have a craving for. I don't normally just go to the store, and buy candy bars. But no, Wonka candy, like Laffy Taffy and bottle caps and nerds and stuff, I could have anytime. So I think that's probably my favorite. And I guess that's still my favorite next to popcorn balls. Popcorn balls are like my number one Halloween thing. So yeah, I guess it's still my favorite. 4, how old were you when you stopped trick-or-treating and do you miss it? Well, truth be told, I am 30 years old and have not completely stopped trick-or-treating. I don't go like door to door because that's illegal in the state of Virginia. After, I think I'm sure it is for 30-year-olds, but I think it's kind of a no-no after you're like 13, I think is the cutoff date in my state. I'm not really sure. But yeah, it's not socially acceptable at 30 to trick-or-treat. But I still would do it at Not So Scary Halloween Party. I still go to Rochelle's Halloween party and they trick-or-treat. The school has a trunk or treat, and so I do that as part with the kids. And so I will trick or treat as long as I can get away with it. That will never stop. So I don't miss it because it's still happening. Number 5, scariest movie you've ever seen. Well, this is kind of embarrassing. There's 2. The less embarrassing one is I saw Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. And I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, but I'm not a scary things person. I hate blood. I hate gore. I can't watch all those really popular shows about zombies and murders and stuff that people like. I get why people like that, but I can't do it. It just freaks me out. And I don't do very well with blood. It's actually in kind of my agreement with my assistant at the school that she handles blood and I handle throat because I can't do blood. It makes me feel like I'm going to pass out. And so I watched Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. And it was just the grossest, most messed up thing that I've ever seen. If I remember correctly, it's been 10 years since I've seen it. And I don't plan on watching it again because it scarred me for life, I think. But it was about this group of young, older teenagers or young adults. And they end up somehow at this kind of farm type place. And these people just do terrible things to them. The one thing that I remember really sticking out in my head was they took the girls. There's a lot of nudity in this film too. They took the girls. It was very sexual and just graphic and I just didn't like it. And they cut words into their bodies, into their skin, and it was just ripped their skin off and then there was a lot of gratuitous sexual violence, and it was just not for me. Some people might like that. I just really was freaked out by that movie, and I can remember I watched it with an ex-boyfriend way back and a bunch of his friends, and it scared one of his friends so bad that he ended up holding my hand too because he was terrified, and it was just, I will never make that mistake again. So if you like that kind of stuff, I would recommend it. But if you don't, then don't go anywhere near it because it's terrifying. I also was scared of the movie Hellraiser, things like The Exorcist. Now watching The Exorcist, even though that could actually happen and that freaks me out, it gives me memories of watching it with people in high school and it's kind of funny. And then the other one that scared me really bad that's embarrassing is Lifetime does a lot of movies about, killing people, and murders, and a lot of it is based on things that have really happened. And they did a movie about the Melendez brothers, and I was probably, when the Melendez brothers killed their parents, I think I was 10 or 11, maybe. I was upper elementary, lower middle school. And I watched the Lifetime movie because I love Lifetime movies, and so of course I watched it with my sister, and it ended up, for whatever reason, just triggering a complete nervous breakdown in me. And I was crying, and my sister still makes fun of me about it because she's you were such an idiot. But I was crying, I don't want to ever get to that point in my life where I want to kill my parents. And I don't have parents now. I didn't kill them, but that would have never even crossed my mind. So I don't know why that movie, watching them plot that and think to do something that to me was the worst, most terrible thing you could do, kill your family, just really freaked me out. And I can remember it's the Melendez brothers, I believe, were played by, I want to say Neil Patrick Harris was one of them, and definitely the Darlene's boyfriend from Roseanne, who is now on Big Bang Theory. And just now into adulthood, can I watch Neil Patrick Harris? And I can't think of the other guy's name, but the guy that's it's the main guy, not Sheldon, but the other guy that dates Penny on Big Bang Theory. I don't know why I can't remember his name right now, but he I like was terrified of them for the longest time. I could have watched Doogie Howser. I couldn't watch Roseanne. I'm just now getting back to where I can watch them on TV and I'm not terrified of them. So yeah, that was scary. Next one. Have you ever dressed up in matching costumes? What were they? Oh my gosh, I've dressed up in matching costumes so many times, particularly with Rochelle and my friend Tina. But I was part of a 101 Dalmatians group. I was Dorothy to my sister's Cowardly Lion. My sister and I dressed up as Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz one year. She was Desi because my family has a little bit of Cuban ancestry. I know you can totally tell by looking at my very Latina complexion, but she made a good Desi Arnaz because she's a lot darker complected than I am. And I dressed up with Rochelle at the library as like pirates and book characters and anything that had a theme at the library. You know, generally we wore costumes that kind of coordinated with one another. Gosh, I've done so many. Last year I was the flying monkey in the Wizard of Oz with I teach at a school with my floors teachers, and actually that answers the next question, what I'm going to do for this year. So I'll go ahead and move on to that. What will you be this year? Actually, you all are the first to find out what I'm going to be, besides like Rochelle. But I have decided my school this year, their theme, they're doing it school-wide. And so there's like, how many teachers are there at my school? Like around 30, I think. But anyway, we're all dressing as different superheroes. And so originally I thought I was going to be Poison Ivy because I wanted to be like something actually feminine and attractive because I'm almost always some kind of like creepy dude for Halloween. And I think my husband thinks I have like a cross-dressing obsession. It's just more fun to be something different than what you are. But this year, actually, I was asked to be up in my kind of like department, I guess. They are going to be the Ninja Turtles. And they have actually asked me, because I'm short, will I be Master Splinter? And so my costume for the school Halloween party will be Master Splinter, the rat from the Ninja Turtles. We'll see how that works out. I'm thinking about maybe doing a tutorial on it or something closer to Halloween when I actually have all this stuff to show you guys if you'd be interested in that. I took a lot of classes in high school with my drama course and a little bit in college about like theatrical makeup because that's just something I think is fun. And then I'm also going to be dressing up in a very epic costume with Rochelle, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell you guys yet or not, so I'm not going to tell you. But if you have any guesses as to what Rochelle and I are going to be, I'll give you a hint. It's Disney, and we're both dudes. So if you have any guesses, at least today we're both dudes. We've been going back and forth between a couple different costumes. But if you have any guesses, let me know in the comments below and answer these. Do the tag, do whatever, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.